think of that, trying not to replay it in her mind over and over again. But even that was better than thinking of where she was, right now, this minute, in this space. Tabitha had never liked lifts. What if they fell? What if they got stuck? She always took the stairs. When she went to London, she hated the underground. Once, she had been on a train during rush hour standing up, crammed among the hot bodies, and the train had stopped between tunnels. There had been a muffled announcement, which she couldn't understand. It had stopped for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It was in the summer, and the heat was stifling. Gradually, Tabitha had thought of the solid clay and brick between her and the surface. And then she had thought of how she was in the middle of a train that was stuffed with people, in carriage after carriage in front of her, and carriage after carriage behind her. She had felt an impulse which she could barely stifle, to scream and fight her way out. Now she was in a cell, 4 paces long, 3 paces wide. There was a tiny barred window. It looked out on a yard, beyond that a wall topped with barbed wire, and beyond that you could just make out the hills, hazy in the distance. Yesterday she had looked out of that window, and she had thought that she saw a little shape moving on that hill. Someone walking, someone outside, someone free. But now it was dark, and there was nothing but the spotlights illuminating the yard. The door of the cell would stay locked until the middle of the morning. When she thought about it, she felt like she was buried alive, and wanted to yell for someone to come and rescue her. Perhaps that was what that woman had been howling about. If Tabitha couldn't scream, then perhaps she could cry. But she knew that if she cried, she wouldn't be able to stop, and probably it wasn't good to be seen crying. It was very cold, and the single blanket was inadequate. She drew her knees up almost to her chest and lay hugging herself in the darkness. She smelled different, of prison soap and hair that needed washing, something slightly mouldy. She closed her eyes and thought of the sea, waves swelling and cresting onto the rocky shore. Thoughts came in long, dark curls, and she tried to push them away. There was another scream, then someone banged on a door far away. Although it felt impossible, she must have slept a little, because she was woken by the woman sliding down from the top bunk. It seemed to take a long time. Her feet came first, long with purple-painted toenails, a tattoo of a spider on the right ankle. Then her legs in grey jogging pants, on and on. Then a black t-shirt, riding up to show a ring in the belly button. Finally, a smooth, oval face, long, thick, dark hair with a fringe, circular hoops in her earlobes. She was very tall, maybe 6 feet, and looked strong. In her late 20s, perhaps, although it was hard to judge. Tabitha hadn't seen her last night, not really. She'd just climbed into her bed and pulled the blanket over her head and lain there. "Hi," she said now. The woman didn't reply. She went across the cell and opened the little curtain. That was another thing. The cell had been built for 1 person. Now it had bunk beds, 2 chairs, 2 narrow tables, 2 tiny chests, a sink and a toilet with a little curtain rigged up in front of it. The woman tugged her trousers down and sat on the bowl. Her face was quite expressionless. It was as if she were alone. Tabitha turned to the wall, wrapping herself in the blanket so that she couldn't hear. The toilet flushed and taps were running. Tabitha waited till the woman was done, then climbed out of her bed and washed herself under her arms, splashed water on her face. Then she pulled on canvas trousers, a t-shirt and a sweatshirt. She slid out her sneakers from under the bed. "I'm Tabitha," she said. The woman was methodically brushing her hair. She looked down at her. She must be almost a foot taller than me, thought Tabitha. "You told me that last night." There was a pause. "What's your name?" asked Tabitha. "Michaela. I told you that as well." There was a rattling sound at the door, and it was unlocked and the door pushed inward. A stringy, colourless woman was standing next to a trolley with 2 stainless steel urns on it. "Tea,"